We are recording live on Facebook as well as recording live. So Robert, thanks for joining us. What I'm going to do is, well, I'll tell everybody what we're going to do, and if we have time, if you could show them some stuff on the website, but I'll explain what I mean by that. So thanks for joining us, everyone. What we're going to do is we're still on KW app. Couple of things I want to mention. We will not have class on Thursday. This Thursday, part of the reason is, or the reason is because I will be involved in the Westside team meeting. And so we will not have BYOCC on this Thursday. We will pick back up on Tuesday, next Tuesday. And then that'll give Robert and I time to finalize. We've got a new class that we want to finalize. So we've got a new class coming up. We're still going to do BYOCC, but we have something else we want to share with you as well. So what we want to cover today is this. We're going to continue with KW app. So what I'm going to do is talk about, recap a couple of things as it relates to configuring your website, or excuse me, your consumer app. And then we're specifically going to talk about sharing landing pages, and then also smart plan sharing. And then if we have time, what I would like to do is if Robert can walk us through, he showed us his amazing talent and skills, in which he has on his website all the searches that he showed you, I think, last week. And so if he could walk us through that, that would be awesome. And then that's pretty much it. I do want to try to make sure we end on time to be respectful. So we will go from there. If you have any questions as normal, just let us know. And it is very interactive, so stop us at any point. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to get going.
And the on time, is it 11 o'clock that we finish?
11, yeah. Okie dokie. So can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let me back out of here. Oops, too far. Okay. So couple of things. Whoa. That was interesting. Okay, so now we are in my command. As you remember or recall, last time we were talking about how to set up your app. Remember, you go down to your applets, or you go over to the applets on the left-hand side. You have all of those. If you wanted to expand those, you click on the red KW and expands it. So if you want to see them in terms of the actual icon and also the actual title, we want to go back into consumer. And so let me back up. Did anyone save their link? Remember last week we went through the configuring the widget in terms of the consumer app. Did everyone save their link when they created theirs? Yes or no? Can you give me some thumbs up interaction in terms of, did you save, do a screenshot of your actually KW link to your
I found
consumer?
that when I sent the link from the KW app that I have on my phone, and there's an option to share it with somebody, it said, I think KWRS something, and that was different when I physically typed in all the letters and numbers of the URL that I saved when we set it up. And then I sent it, it didn't show those letters, it showed kw.app.com or something like that.
Right.
And that was the one that seemed to work. The other one was something else.
And sometimes, and Robert can join in on this, sometimes too, if you take off the HTTP and just type in, you know, the URL as it is, sometimes that also helps. I don't know, Robert, do you have any other additional comments to share about that?
Yeah, the only add that I have to that is I bought a vanity website name. So mine says seeyouonmaui.com, and it forwards to my app link. So in thinking about it that way, many different links can actually get you to the same place. So you can use a bit.ly link and shorten it down to, your 4 characters. It'll still take you to the same place. That app URL link, if you're depending on where you're clicking on it from and what your default browser is, it may be a different thing on your phone. Android may be playing with Chrome, Apple may be playing with Safari. So I would caution in the saying that it doesn't work right away, maybe just in the application that you used it in. But yeah, I mean, a lot of different links can lead you to the same place, right?
And I only hear what other people are saying because I don't have a second phone to be the consumer to look at
Absolutely,
directly.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Unless
So I
I'm sitting.
think
Yeah.
he does make a valid point that you may want to either consider, taking that URL and putting it in a bit.ly form. So then that way it's consistent across the board, and or, if you wanted to, like he did in terms of going to GoDaddy or wherever, Go Sister, wherever. That was a joke, everyone. You could do that in terms of having that be the landing site, and it still will redirect or direct the person to that app site. So it just really depends on what works well for you. But the bit.ly is free, so if you want to try that, you can go that way.
And
Or any other
I have,
shortened platform. You don't have to necessarily.
I have two quick questions.
Yeah.
Robert was saying Android might be playing with Chrome, and I have Apple, but I usually use Safari. Should I just only use Chrome because Apple likes Chrome more than Safari?
That's harder to do on the iPhone. I use Chrome on my iPhone, and you can set it up as the default browser. So it's a personal preference. It really is a personal preference. One thing I was going to mention is, your app on your phone. It's just an app. That's all it is. It's just an app. It has, the part that engages the app with command is them creating a login and a password. All that stuff isn't saved on your phone. All of that stuff is saved in the cloud. So don't be afraid to delete your app on your phone and go get it again. And you can search for yourself as the agent in there, or send yourself those links and see how those links operate. So disengage from the app on your phone, and then in command, send yourself both those links and see which ones operate. Yeah. So just different ways to test it. Yeah.
The other thing I will say to you, because I go between PC at work and Mac at home. So like when I'm at home and on my Mac, I typically utilize Chrome or Firefox. Chrome is the preferred one for me because it's just easier. When I'm using my phone in terms of my iPhone, I typically just have Safari, and that works well for me. If I run into any issues, I can jump on Chrome, but that works for me in terms of having that, because for me, what I do, I'm more stationary in terms of my office, whether it's here at the office or at my office at home. So, so that's one way to work around it as well, just to kind of throw that out as well.
This also gets into, if you think about it in a larger sense, the complexity that KWRI has with just iPhones and Androids, not to mention tablets and PCs and PC tablets and all the different size formats, and it becomes a bear and a monster really fast. So I think both links, once you find the one that works, I would stick with it and use it. That's what we all do, right? We find one that works and just use that. So that would be
Thanks,
my
Robert.
suggestion. Yeah.
So one of the reason why I brought that up is because there's always a method to my madness. I am mad. But the reason why I said that is because of this. We're going to walk through how to create a landing page. So there's two things that I want to show you today in terms of sharing your app, which I know you already know, but it's just a refresher. We're going to focus on building a landing page, so you can either go with me, or if you have any questions at any point, let me know. But we're going to focus on landing pages, and then also we're going to go into smart plans and go that route. So the first is landing pages. So I was already in consumer, and how I got there, just a friendly reminder. went over to the left-hand side at the very bottom, typed in consumer, it's automatically going to have that teal underline for landing pages. And so what we want to do is from there, on the right-hand side where it says create a new site. So we're going to click on that. So then you're going to follow this prompt. It's either you're going to say, where would you like your page to be displayed? You can say on my site or on a standalone page. We're going to do a standalone page and then create. So the very first thing you always want to do, Robert's going to say this, I'm going to always say this, is you want to make sure that you save it, give it a title. So I'm just going to say, you know, MYKW app. You can call it whatever you want. So now that it's saved, you can go, you notice your widgets, which are on the right-hand side. We have a new widget. I think it was like February or March of this year, Robert, if I'm not correct. That's when we had this new download app. So you first want to make sure that you have some form of header. So you can either have an agent branded or you can just have a branded header. So you just want to click and drag. The green button will highlight where it's going to appear. You see my green line, so I'm just going to drop it, and that's the agent branded one. If you wanted to do a different version, if you wanted to do the branded header, you can do that. If you don't like that, it's up to you, but I'm just going to stick with that for now. So then right there, you have all of that information. The next thing you want to do is, I want to take a step back. Whenever you're creating any type of landing page, my rule of thumb, and Robert can weigh on this in terms of he thinks differently, you want to keep it short and simple. You don't want to get too many widgets added, because then it becomes almost like a task or a checklist of, you know, what people are looking at. You want to keep it in mind that people have a short attention span. So whatever your landing page is, you have to go back to what's my reason for this landing page and what's my call to action. So reason, purpose, call to action, meaning what do I want people to do? If the primary purpose of this landing page is to share my app, then that's all I really want to focus on. I don't want to add all these other things, and then it gets confusing. Your message gets confusing. So then now simply want to do the download app. We see our green line tells us where it's going to go. We just release it. Now we have download the app. Then if you want, which I definitely recommend, definitely you want to know, or I need to move my pictures. Let's go this way so I can move you guys. So now we definitely want to, you can add a lead form, because you definitely want to know who the people are. So let's see if that went. I don't think it did, because I think I clicked it. There we go. It did. Okay. So now we have just a simple header. We've got download the app, which will be your app. And then we have the lead generation or the lead form. Simple, straightforward to the point. So the key thing that I want to reiterate is whenever you're doing landing pages, sometimes you will forget this, but it's so key. You always want to make sure you hit configure widgets. It's not going to do anything until you configure it. Right now, if you want to look at this or think about it as a draft, this is your draft. This is not going to do anything until you actually configure it and double check and make sure that everything's correct. So then you want to hit configure widgets on the bottom right. So then you noticed here automatically, I had these check marks on the right-hand side. That's good. That's what you want to see. If you hit configure widgets and you do not see these check marks here, that means you got a little more work to do. If you have any questions about what's on these, you can simply go click onto the first one. Let me back up. A couple other things I wanted to say. I've already configured it, so it's good to go for me. But again, at the top, you'll also, once I click on agent branding, This is just to take you through in case you don't have a check mark here. What you would do is you would click it. You would go through the steps, making sure whatever pukas you need to fill, you can do that. You can type in all of that information. If you wanted to add some other things, you could. And then once you're done, you hit save and apply. Keep in mind, this allows you this top portion right here where it says agent branding, and then it says 1 of 3. We added 3 widgets, so it's always going to tell you what that end number was. So we are on 1 of 3. If we want to save this, which is always a great thing to save, then we move on to the next one. So now this is the download one. Remember when I said at the onset of the class, I said, how many of you saved your link? The reason is it's always good, because I don't have mine here, so don't freak out. I don't have it just because I'm not an agent. But the reason why I wanted you to make sure you saved your link in terms of what it is, so that you can make sure where that button says button redirect URL, those URL matches. That's what you want to see. You want to make sure they match. Oh, go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of this information is really pulled from your profile setup as well. So if you have your profiles fully engaged and ready to go, a lot of this information will already be here. This is just in case it needs that information and it's required. So
then you can always change the headline here if you wanted to. If you wanted to be a little jazzy, have a little personality, add some spice, you could say download my app, or whatever whatever you want to say on here. You can actually change the header. Here, there's a subtext that's already generated. You can either change the subtext if you want or keep it. And then the button text in terms of the click here, if you will, see where it says download app right here on the middle. You can change that to whatever you want. You can change it to Ann's app, download Ann. So you can change that if you wanted to. And then it would eventually, once you hit save and apply. And then obviously, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Who's Ann?
Oh, Ann. So then you can double check that URL just to make sure. And as Robert did mention, as long as you have your marketing profile set up correctly and it's got all the information, it'll do just like mine did, where all my check marks are on the right-hand side initially. It'll go through that and you won't have anything else to do. But this is just in case, number 1, you don't see the check marks, and number 2, sometimes you just want to be sure what things say and what it's supposed to say. So it doesn't hurt you to go through that and make sure if you want to add something, you can. So then if we want to keep this, because we're going to download and we want to save. And then so now we're on 2 of 3. So we go to 3. And then here, the only thing that you can change is the header text. So, if you wanted to say something like, let's chat, you could do that and then hit save, save and apply. And then, so I'm done. So what I can do is go back, and here it's going to look exactly like mine did if you have all of those information already in terms of you already have the check mark here, and then you can just hit done. Then if you're ready to publish, you can. I want to say this about publish. Don't be afraid to hit the publish button. The reason is because what we're going to do next is notify everyone that that actually is on your landing site. But before you do that, you want to go in and check it. So let me explain what I mean. So we can hit publish and we'll just say yes, because it just asked if you wanted to feature that. So don't get nervous. I need to move you guys. So here, we remember I mentioned several weeks ago that you always, whenever you have that toggle green kind of button, that's good to go. So that means that this is fully functional, live, ready to go. Still, again, don't get nervous. If you needed to do anything in terms of edit, deactivate, you can always do that. If you wanted to change the URL, you could change that. You would simply go to change and see here, the last highlighted portion right here, this part, that is the only part that you can change. So if you wanted to say something like download my app, or, you know, whatever it is, download Ann. I'm just gonna pick on Ann. Then you would just say download Ann. And so you can do that. The one thing I do wanna say is then what you wanna do is you either wanna click on this or copy it, because what you wanna do is, you see how it opened up a new tab in the browser? I just wanna make sure it goes where it's supposed to go. Does that make sense? So that's a way that you can check it. Deanna's like, oh. Yes, you just want to check the link. I promise you want to check it. Just to make sure it goes where it's supposed to go, download it. You can send it to a friend and, you know, have them look at it, just make sure the link works. And then from there, you can begin to share it, social media. We'll talk about smart plans next. But again, I would also keep a copy of this, either screenshot it, you know, save it, you know, bookmark it. So now I know it's in my bookmarks. I can go into here, create a bookmark, and I can say my app, whatever. You can keep it as is, or I'm still gonna pick on Ann, download Ann.
I'm good with it.
Another suggestion.
Love you, Ann, that's why I'm picking on you.
Another suggestion would be, if when you're saving this link, text it to yourself. Take a look, see what the format looks like on the phone, right? So send yourself a text and take a look. You know, maybe instead of the market profile, the larger block, maybe that looks great on the phone. Maybe you wanted something narrower. You can go back in, edit that page, and you could make it just the branded header, which is a little narrower. Save some space. It's all kind of open, but I always like to look at it on both the PC and then on the phone, so I see what I'm sending people, because a lot of people look at stuff on their phone. So
Right, and do I need to delete my KW app in order to do that? And, you know, I don't look on that on my phone so much anyway, so I might as well just delete it, I suppose.
The app would only be if you're going to play with the app on the app side. So this is inside a command, and all you're doing is sending a link, which will activate your browser, either Safari or Chrome, and then it'll show you what it looks like there. It won't go into your app and operate your app. It shouldn't.
Okay. Are we still talking about the app though? I apologize, I'm getting a little confused.
This is just a standalone web page. So this is a page that you're creating that you're going to send to somebody with some content in there. This one happens to be download the app. So it could be COVID help on Maui, that kind of stuff. You could create a page that way.
So let me explain. I'll give you a great example, but there's something that Robert mentioned that I want to go back to, and then Deanna, I want to go back to your point. I went back into the landing page that we created. And so Robert mentioned about there's a different, you can do the agent branding, which again, my internet's unstable, so hopefully you can hear me. This takes up a lot of real estate, if you will, no pun on that, but it takes up a lot of space. So if you're looking at it on desktop, it doesn't look bad, but if you are on a mobile, it may not be mobile friendly or as mobile friendly. So what Robert mentioned was to use the branded header instead of the agent header. So let's say I want to do that. So I go back in, I just simply hit delete right here. So then now I want to do the branded header. So I want to make sure I'm at the top, go over to the right, click and drag, and now that's the branded header. So that's how you do that. Then if you can save it, yes, I'm going to update. Now it's good to go. You can check it again if you want. Again, I can go back in and let's see if it
takes a second to refresh.
Yeah, it takes a second. It takes more than a couple seconds when you have internet issues. So we're just going to pretend like it did it, but it is correct. So the other quick thing I want to show you is this, what we mean, or just to clarify what we mean by a landing page. So I'm going to do something outside of command, so don't get mad at me. And hopefully it'll work. Okay, so this is my website. So I have a one-page website, but I have hidden where people can't see landing pages. So when they go in, this is all they see. If they wanted to learn more about my design and staging, I have a landing page that I just showed you how to create. So I would say, they would say, yes, I want to learn more about staging design. Click on learn more. And this is the separate landing page. So it takes them to another place where they can figure out what staging is, facts, testimonials, all of that stuff. So that's what I mean by a landing page, because it's nothing that's visible at first, but once they click on something that activates it, takes them or redirects them to another spot, then you have that information. So yes, Robert?
To kind of bring that into command world is you have your agent site, right? So they go to luckylibmaui.com or whatever your site name is, right? AnnHeron.com, right? They go to Ann's site and she has a site with a drop down that has a whole bunch of integrated features inside the site. So you have a drop down list and you can hit those links. You can also inside of one of those pages, put in a link to a landing page that could have custom content that could live separately from the website. So there's a lot of different ways to work it, and you can create landing pages and use those on your website. But I prefer I like the drop down right now, and then I haven't gotten into building those pages with links to landing pages, but you could. A lot of options.
Special.
Yeah, lots of different ways to chew that gum, I guess, you know.
I walk and talk and do flips and all that stuff. Maybe not well, but I do it. Okay, so that's the landing pages piece. So now I want to go into, now let me take a step back. Are there any questions or concerns, comments about landing pages in general? Because now I want to go into the smart plans. Nothing? Okay, so smart plans. So here are the list of smart plans that I have, and I thought I saved. I don't know, did I save it? Oh yeah, I did. Yay! Okay, so again, let me take a step back. I have them already loaded in my smart plans currently. However, if you do not, let's walk through in the case that you do not have them. So in the case that you don't have them already on your smart plans, you can go into library and you can do one of two things. You can do a search and you can just say app. And then once you do app, it's just gonna automatically, this just saves you time in terms of, you can scroll down if you want to, but if you generally know the keyword or key phrase, you can just type that in. And so then here, once you tap in app in the in the search, and then hit enter, the results came up with 37 different things. So promote my app is the one that we want to add. So I've already added it, but it doesn't hurt. I'll just say version 2. Maybe I will, and maybe I won't. Then you want to go back into your smart plans. And then here's my app here. So then I'm going to hit the edit button. And there's one thing I do want to say while I'm thinking about this, and anytime that you are using a smart plan, let's say, for example, you are using a smart plan from the library that maybe someone else within KW, whether international, has created, and they're sharing it with everyone else because they think it's a best practice or it is a best practice. Keep in mind that any links that are automatically attached, so right here, let's go back up. So remember, we can do our drop down option in terms of being able to see this better, but we have send email, and let's do this. So you send emails, the first step, then you have a set delay, then you have day 2, and this is actually an SMS, SIMS, or text message. So I'm just doing a text. Keep in mind that whenever you see a link, that's your indication to actually put the link in there. And what I want to stress is this. Sometimes if there's already a link in there, you want to delete it completely. And the reason is because if you type over this, it's still going to have the previous link connected to it. So you want to clear it out completely and then go in and actually put your own app in there, or excuse me, yeah, your own link in there. And I had an agent, and the reason why I'm saying this, because I was working with an agent yesterday in which they were utilizing a best practice smart plan. And what was going on was they weren't going in and completely getting rid of that link. They were just typing over it, and it was embedded the other person's or the other agent's information. So whenever they tested, sent it to them, the smart plan to themselves to check it, once they clicked on the link, it kept going back to that other agent. And what they hadn't done was cleared out everything. So that's why I want to stress that. Robert, you're nodding your head. You want to say something really quick about that? Or?
Yeah. What I wanted you to do is go ahead and hit the merge tag drop down over there and put in, right there, and put in your app link and just take a look at.
Sorry.
It's all right. Take a look at the way see how it looks. It looks almost identical. So best practice for me is when I get somebody's smart plan off the Keller Williams library, I'll go through all of these just like Latasha's saying, and I'll make sure that first name, last name, see the spaces there. You don't want that many spaces, so you'll take out some of the spacing because there is a space there already, right? So just kind of clear it up, and this is where you would, the tags themselves come with a pre-headed space and a post space. So you want to make sure that they're pretty tight. So if you're going to say, hey, agent first name, comma, you don't want hey space agent first name space comma, or client first name, whatever, right?
Great point. And then the other thing too is going back to what Robert said earlier. Once you have your marketing profile set up, once you have your KW branded website set up, and once you have your consumer app configured and set up, when you hit that merge field that Robert showed us, and I just did per his instructions, that's not what's going to appear. It's going to be your URL that shows up there. So I just wanted to be very clear about that. So this is because I don't have mine branded, but if it were, it would say something like download and. So that's where that would be. So that I just wanted to make sure that you understood that it wouldn't show up as kw.app.link. It would say KW, and then it would have whatever your link is.
Hey, Latasha, a good test on this too, and I've done this in the past just to see how it operates, is I'll build a smart plan with one step, and the one step is a text field. I'll use merge tags, and I'll put myself on that smart plan or text it out to myself. See how that piece of the smart plan actually operates. Now I'm ready to build on that. Maybe I'll send an email after, but maybe I'll send an email just to myself to see how it operates. And then start piecing those things together. You build confidence a little bit more in the system when you can see it piece by piece coming to you.
Deanna, it looked like you wanted to say something or no?
I was agreeing. Yeah.
Okay. So this one was, Yes.
have.
Thanks.
So this one was, oh, Lucy, did you have something to say? I'm sorry.
Yes, that's okay. It's all right. So I was trying to follow you on my command on my other screen. And when I was following you, it won't allow me, when I put add to smart plan from my library, it won't allow me to download it. Why is
So
that?
let me go back.
Okay.
I'm going to save this.
Okay, I'm right here. So I do add smart plan right here like we were doing.
Yeah, so it looks like this may, for whatever reason, may be blocked in terms of a download. I'm not sure why. The reason why I have it on mine, because I did this back in August. So I'll have to figure out why it's not allowing to download anymore. The one thing I will say is let's go in another route. So let's create our own, like Robert was saying, so we can go in that way. But I'll have to look into this as to why it's not downloading. But again, the reason why I have it is because I put this on my smart plan library in August, and I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Okay,
Hey,
let's
Latasha,
try another way. Okay.
I was going to say right behind that is the a real easy smart plan that I put out there. It was a happy 4th of July smart plan. Does it operate the same way without letting you download?
Let's see. No, that one's fine.
Yeah, so it might have been the naming convention on the other one, right? So when you change the name, I think it wants the my in there first, maybe?
Let's see.
I just downloaded it and didn't have a problem.
Right, okay. Oh, you know why, Latasha? You already have it in your library. It won't
Oh,
let you-
that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that doesn't explain why Lucy's having issues.
Maybe she's already got it in her library.
She may already have it in her library, yeah.
Lucy, go to your library.
Okay.
Are you
just
with
a minute.
us?
Yeah, I am. I'm there. Hang on here. I'm at different places somewhere. I'm not sure. where.
No worries, no worries.
Pressure, Lucy.
Okay, so, okay, now I'm going to smart, it lost where I was. Okay.
Okay, no
Smart
worries.
plan.
So make sure your screen looks just like mine, Lucy, in terms of I've highlighted my smart plan. So make sure you're there. Are you there?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I'm in, that maybe because I did try to do that way back.
It might be there. So look through them and see.
And then what do? I click on it?
Yeah, so what you want to do is if you see it on this list, then you
Yes.
want to go to the right, and where it says actions, you just hit edit. So do you have it?
Hit the little pencil icon, yeah, and that'll let you edit, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Do you see it?
Yeah, I have something that comes up.
You may have it already. Thanks.
Yeah, I just
So
kind of
then-
started, but I didn't finish. So we
Okay,
may want to
good.
continue.
At least you have it. That's all that matters. So at least you have it.
Okay.
So then
thank you.
if you wanted to create your own custom one, you hit create. Or whatever it is you want to call it. So again, this is creating the custom one. So then it's going to take you to your configuring stage. Right now we have 1 day, 0 step, 0 touch. So then if we wanted to just do a text, we could do a text.
This is the weird inconsistency in commands.
Yeah, I know. I was just
on
thinking
that
smart
too,
plans and got totally, or not smart plans, but was thinking consumer app. So just click on this one. Then going back to what Robert was saying, this is just one step only. And then what you can do is if you want to set a delay, you can, but right now it's just one static action item. You know that your Twilio is connected because it says from your Twilio account is connected. You can type in whatever text you want here, or if you wanted to do this, you could copy the text from the My Consumer app if you were concerned about what verbiage, if you could at least use that to start. you could copy that text, put it in there, and then just test it by sending it to yourself. And then if you want to start adding to it, you can do make a call. If you want to add to it, keep in mind that every time you add a widget or anytime you add a task, you want to make sure you set a delay. So if you're going to add something next, let's say you want to make a call after that, then you would make sure you set a delay first. And that's just the inherent consistency or the flow, communication flow that command has set up, where you have an action, you wait a little bit, then you do another action. So you can add as many as you want. You can, start with one, add two, add three, going back to what Robert said. But I just wanted to walk you through logistically how you would do that. And then once you get it to where you want it to be, again, the one thing I didn't do, I did save it. So just make sure you save it, key thing. Save it again. Oops. I don't have any text there.
So one thing I was going to suggest here in this text thing is you might throw in a merge tag like client first name, and then put in a comma after it, and then maybe put in another merge tag and a period. And that way, when you get that text, you'll be able to see how the spacing happens, right? Maybe you put first name, last name, and find out if there's 2 spaces or 1 space, and just make a mental note of that, right?
So that's following instructions, Robert's instructions. I just typed aloha or whatever your salutation is, a comma, and then immediately after that, I did not do any spaces, and then hit my comma. And then here, if you want to say greetings, I'm just doing something. And then you could do another merge field. You can just put last name just to play with it. And then maybe just period. And then you could use that as a test just so you can see how it flows and then what the spacing. And that's a quick test. You want to save it. And then you could save it to your, send it to yourself, excuse me. And then that way, oops, because I added one. I'll do the same. Just do last name here. And again, it's just a test.
Notice you put the comma right after the hello instead of hello and that information, then a comma.
Yes, so here again, it's just a test, but the thing is that going back to the fact that I know it's gonna automatically create spaces where I don't want it, I wanna see how tight it's going to be. So that's why I'm not doing any spacing, because then it looks like it's an authentic message as opposed to being something computer generated.
No, I'm just talking about where the placement, where you put the comma, you went aloha comma, or was that inserted in when you put in the contact?
Oh, I put that in there. Yeah, I just put that in there. Yeah. You don't have to do that. Yeah, you don't have to do that. So you can take it out if you want.
Oh, okay, because I didn't say aloha comma. First.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just doing that so you can see the spacing. Yeah, you don't have to do that. Typically you put the comma after, but I just wanted to put that in there so when you do the test, you can see how the spacing works.
All right.
Yeah, yes. But thanks for saying that so I can clarify why I did that. But great comment. So then you can just save it and go from there. Any other questions or comments? And then I'm gonna turn it over to Robert in our last few minutes. But any comments or questions?
Do you not have an account to do this?
Say that again.
You have to have a Twilio account to do this?
For text messages only, yes. You need to be connected to Twilio from command.
But not email ones, you don't have to.
Exactly, yeah. So if you're doing a call, email, anything else, no. But if you are adding a text component to your campaign, to your smart plan, yes, you will need to have Twilio connected. But it's pennies on the dollars, so it's definitely worth it. Lucy, you had your hand up.
Yes, I thought I was following you guys and I continue, and it did say, I thought I connected Twilio before, and I guess I didn't. So I'm not, and it's
No. May I correct you, Lucy? You probably did do it, but remember we have a new migration. So if you haven't gone back in since the migration, then you would need to connect it. So I wanted to correct you. So you probably may have done it the first time, but you may not have gone in since the migration or the upgrade, if you will. So that is why it's probably not connected. So I just wanted to correct you and say you probably did it. So
So because I went to where we're just discussing, and it says no Twilio.
So let me do this. I'm going to give you permission to share your screen really quickly, and it's simply going to be connecting your Twilio. So hold on. Give me just one quick second. Let me stop sharing.
Hey Lucy, another thing I wanted to tell you was that because of the Consumer Protection Act, whenever there's a text component in a smart plan, you're going to get that red message that looks like an error, but all it's really doing is alerting you, saying, okay, you need to make sure that you're aware that there's a Consumer Protection Act along with texting and emailing somebody. It may look, it's just an informative bubble. I wish they wouldn't have put it on everything, but the legal department has a way of confusing things. So it might just be that, but go ahead and share your screen with Latasha. We'll take a look.
Okay. I press share screen, is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Share screen, share, boom. Okay, now where do I go?
So now since you're in your, go to the top, and are you in command? I don't see.
No, I was in command in the other screen, so I have to.
Okay, so stop screen share.
Where do we do that?
At the top. So now it's going to be at the top. It'll be, there you go. So now what you want to do is once you hit the green share button,
yes,
it's going to come up with all of the tabs that are open. So you want to click on the tab that you have your command open.
Okay. I have to open it. So do I open it before I do the share screen?
No, you don't have to. You should be able to. Well, I don't know. Do you have to? You might have to because you have two screens.
Right.
Well, command is only on the other screen, so.
It should show desktop 1 or desktop 2. So you'll see a window. Once you hit share, you'll see a multiple panels up there. Pick the little one that has command on it, and you should be good.
Okay, I'm going on command right now.
Okay.
I'm opening it up.
We see it.
Okay, it's coming. Do you guys see?
Yeah, we see it.
I'm doing good.
Yes, you are. So proud of you.
So now, now, do you see my screen?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay,
now go onto at the very top, Lucy, at the very top on the right-hand side where you have your avatar, your image of Lucy, and then that drop-down menu, click on that.
But now I see us where I see me. How do I move?
Yeah, all you have to do is just click and drag that away. So click and drag it.
It's a little messy because it's a lot of stuff on a screen.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
Look at Lucy go.
Okay, now. Okay, now, where do I go?
So now you go to settings.
Okay, here we go.
What did she click and drag away? I missed that.
Oh, just our windows in terms of our Zoom images.
Oh.
Because sometimes you can't see that. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say when you're showing your screen, the people watching you may think that you're a bit of a spaz with the mouse because you're constantly moving little pieces out of the way so you can click on something because the participant window's up there, the chat window's up there, and all these other windows are up there, and you can't see what you're actually presenting. So it can get a little messy if you don't have maybe two screens, or it just gets messy.
So then Lucy, scroll all the way to the bottom because you're in all of your integrated or app connections. So just hit your space bar or your down arrow key. You don't need to do anything but down arrow. Do you have a down arrow on your keyboard?
I don't know what you mean by that. Hang on.
On your keyboard or on your, just go down, So let me back up. So you see where it says DocuSign? There you go.
Okay, I didn't understand the language. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
All right. So now, and it's exactly what it was. You have to subscribe. So you'll have to go through that subscribe button. You see where it says in that teal, it says subscribe in Marketplace.
Yeah. I thought I did way back, but I guess not. Maybe I got
Well, that's what I was saying to you. You probably did it, but since the new upgrade, we have to go back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you stop sharing because you're going to have to provide some information. So
Okay.
if Robert, would you be able to jump on a call? I've got another call after this, or otherwise I can help her a little later before I leave. Would you be able, do you have time?
I
Well,
just,
I do have a call after this, but Lucy, you've got this. All you have to do is just pretty much do the same thing. What I
buy
would
now,
sug-
just press
Yeah,
buy now and put
yep,
my
and
info.
it'll have different plans up there. Start with the cheapest one. Don't start with the most expensive. Just go with the $3.16 a month. You'll be fine.
And it will give me a number, or do I give my personal
You'll
link
be able
there?
to choose a number during that process.
Okay, all right, no,
Yeah.
no
And then
worries.
Lucy, call me, 808-445-6100. If you run into any issues, just give me a call.
Okay, thank you guys. Sorry for
Okay,
the
so
delay
stop
here.
sharing. There you go, because I didn't want
No
to
worries.
have you share any information. Any
Thank you.
questions?
I have one quick question.
Terry? Yeah.
On the My Promote app smart plan, it's 5 steps, including the 2 delays. The first one is sending an email. So what I'm confused, it's not showing how to customize what's written in that email.
It is not. So if you want to share your screen, I just made you a co-host. We can walk you through that, and Robert's nodding his head. There's certain things that you, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say some of these canned smart plans that come from Keller Williams International, right? The email is already preformed for you. So what I would do in that case is before you send it out to people, this is beating that old drum again, right? Before you send it out to people, put yourself on it, send it to yourself. You'll be able to see what that email looks like with all your
Okay.
information on there. Yeah.
Okay.
But it is a non-editable piece of that smart plan. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Terry, what I would say is if you're not comfortable with that, then what you could do is take the parts that you are comfortable with on that and copy the text and then create your own. So then that way you're kind of parsing out what you like and getting rid of what you don't like.
Okay.
So you can do that as well too.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes
Okay.
sense. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other comments or questions before we leave? Lucy, did you have anything else? Deanna, did you have anything else?
Nope.
Terry, you good?
Good.
Okay, so just a reminder, we won't meet on Thursday, but when we do meet again on Tuesday, Robert's going to focus on helping you with your website as it relates to the save searches. And then we will be announcing our new class. We will still continue with BYOCC, but we're just gonna add some extra stuff, especially for those of you that are on pace with us and are ready for the next, you know, kind of new series of something to work on. So we're pretty excited about what we're gonna roll out next week. So join us on Tuesday, not Thursday. If you run into any issues or concerns or have any questions, email us or email me. Either myself will respond or Robert, I'll get Robert in the loop and we can help you one-on-one. But that's it for today. But let me know if there's anything else. Lucy, you got this, but call me if you need. Thanks, Ann, for letting me pick on you today. Terry, thanks. Deanna,
Just another quick note on what's coming in the next class is this is kind of website 2.0. So all of the pre-canned stuff is here. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into how to set up elements and that kind of stuff. So just it's fun if you like that kind of stuff. So see you then.
right.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
great day.
Have a great
Aloha.
day.
Bye
Bye.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.